folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, today I want to talk about something that may seem like we're shifting gears a little bit from what we've been talking about now for a week or better, which is obviously regarding the war with Russia and Ukraine and how it's affecting the markets, how it's affecting the economy and food supplies, and so on and so forth. This may seem like a shift of gears. It is a little bit, but it is most definitely connected. And this is information that you may not know anything about. I'm not aware of it being reported anywhere. So I want to bring it to you to give you a heads up on what could possibly be going on in your local area, because I know that it's happening here in our area. So I want to give you some pretty good information on that. Before I get started, for those of you in the mid-Missouri area, there is a prepper meeting coming up. This is not one of mine. It's someone else that hosts these, and they've asked me to pass this information along. This is in the Jefferson City, Columbia, Missouri area. It is on March 18th, and the meeting will be held at 6 p.m. There's an email address that should be popping up down here below. If you email that person, he can give you the details of exactly where that is so that you can attend. So if you live anywhere in the Columbia, Missouri, Jefferson City, Missouri area, certainly try to make that event, because that's how we're meeting people. That's how we're making connections. The guy that's running this, I personally know very well. And he's a super good guy, and it's not a sketchy kind of thing. I've been hearing some really good reports from the meetings that they've been having. They're doing a really great job. So again, that's March 18th at 6 p.m. Up there in the Jeff City, Columbia, Missouri area. So try to make that one if you can. All right, so this video is basically some intel that I received from a neighbor. I have a neighbor friend here close to me. It lives on the same road that we live on. And we were talking the other day, and we're very like-minded, and gave me some information that I've done a little bit of research on, and I'm telling you, I think it's something we should all be aware of, because there's a good possibility this is happening all over the country. As you all are aware, well, since the last year and this year also, there has been a massive influx of illegals crossing the border. We've all heard about it. We've all seen the reports and watched the video of just mass influx. Basically, it's this open border policy. Joe Biden, before he even took office, made that statement. There's a video of him saying, "Hey, if you're from Mexico or whatever, just come on over." And then this has been happening on a massive scale. They estimate that there's been around 2 million encounters on the border. Now, what that means is that's not how many people's crossed the border. That's just how many people that have come across the border that they've caught. Basically, that's their new phrase of encounter. And if you make it across the border, well, you're good to go right now. You're going to get to stay. You just, ask that you can stay. There's actually, I reported on this a few months back, that the United Nations is actually on the Mexican side of the border, and they have been for a couple of years now. And what they're doing is they're teaching people when they cross the border what to say and what to do. They're giving them paperwork, getting things already filled out, so that they can declare their status and try to stay in the country. So this is not just a sporadic and coincidental thing that's happening. This is a very orchestrated movement of getting people, and then they're not just from Mexico. They're from all over South America and from around the world, Middle Eastern, Indian, African. They're all over, and they're coming across the border. And this doesn't even include any refugees that we've purposely brought over from, say, Afghanistan, and who knows how many might be brought over from Ukraine if the crisis in Ukraine gets worse. This is just illegal border crossings. It's been an astronomical amount. There's been news reports of them flying them to New York and to other parts of the country. And that's one of the things that we want to talk about, because it looks like they're trying to evenly spread them out, so to speak, across the country. How this connects to all the stuff that we've been talking about, well, the things we've been talking about that's going to directly affect us here is economical and food. we're with all this food crisis that's going on all over the world. That's going to affect us. And if there's a whole lot more people in the country, well, that's just more people to feed. Same with the economics. If there's, if there's businesses that are struggling and there's just more people, if there's more people on the drain on the system, that's a problem. And we can't know exactly the intent of every person crossing that border illegally. But the odds are that there could be criminal elements or even terrorists among them. Well, that's a pretty good odds that there are some. And, it wouldn't take very many, people. It doesn't take that many people to set off a bomb or something. So it doesn't need to even be large amounts. This is, in a sense, in every sense, this is an invasion. And we've all been talking about that, and we all know about that. So this problem is a very severe problem, and it's not been talked about too much because of all these other big things in the news between the and now what's going on in Europe. But we have to remember that this is still a very critical problem. And with all the things going on in Europe, this problem could exacerbate it between the drain on our food supply, a drain on our economy, and then just also the possibility of some type of elements coming through the border that could infiltrate us, that could, cause destruction, attack us in some way. With the times that we're in, this is quite serious. So anyways, this conversation that I had with my friend, he's a Catholic, and he's actually personal friends with the diocese, the bishop over and I don't know a whole lot about Catholic church and everything, so I'm just telling you what I understand. The bishop that's over the diocese for this part of Missouri, he's personal friends with. And the diocese here, it's pretty much the entire southern Missouri. I'm going to show you. I found this. This is a little kind of graphic picture or whatever map of it. And it covers pretty much all of southern Missouri. Missouri doesn't have a real high, especially this part of Missouri, doesn't have a real high Catholic population. So I guess because of that, it covers a lot of land mass. This part of Missouri, I looked up and did the numbers, equates to about 1.3 million in population. Okay, and that's like I said, the entire, at least 1/3 of Missouri is what this makes up. And so he was talking to this bishop, and he was telling him that the bishop was telling him that he was contacted by whomever. I'm not sure if this was government officials or if this was someone further up the ladder in the Catholic Church, but he was contacted and said that they're moving these illegals that come across the border, the bunches of them, they gather them up and then they disperse them on planes and trains and automobiles and everything else. And he said that this part of Missouri, that under his diocese, is scheduled to receive around 55,000 of these illegals, and that they're trying to disperse them across the country. And they're making contact with charitable organizations and churches and stuff to help, settle them and help them get started in life. Now, I did some math. I know 55,000 for a land mass of that size, what you saw in the picture, doesn't seem too much, but like I said, that's 1.3 million in population, and I did the math. That's a little over 4% of our population for that part of Missouri. That's actually quite significant. That many people all at once moving in. I mean, for instance, my county that I live in, and it's a large county land size, only has 30,000 people in it. So that many people, at least 55,000 moving into this area or this region of the state, that's a significant amount of people. These are people that apparently they have nothing, they have no money, they have nothing, and they're going to come here and, at least in the beginning, be living completely off of community and government services. And then also not really knowing what their intent is in being here. This is pretty significant, folks. And I don't think, especially, and my friend and I, we talked about this, and he said, well, he couldn't, his bishop couldn't confirm that this was happening all over the country. It did appear to him that this was, and so that what they're doing, whether they're going through just the Catholic Church or they're going through other charitable organizations, they're contacting them and saying, hey, we need your help to kind of settle these, people that are coming into the country. And it sounds like that this is happening all over. I can't confirm it, that it's happening in your area, but with all the news reports and then now this, I would say that there's probably a fairly good chance that this is happening everywhere. When you think about the numbers that at least 2 million that they've captured, 2 million that they've encountered, that's a pretty large number. They can't take all 2 million of those and stick them on the border. It would just absolutely overwhelm. And that's why we've been seeing all the pictures and the videos and stuff of them loading them in buses and planes and moving them out of the area. So it would make sense that at least in some parts of the country, and very possibly all parts of the country, that they're doing this. This is significant. I mean, again, the southern Missouri area is like a lot of rural. It's a mostly very predominantly rural part of the country. In fact, in that map that I showed you, there's only one real major population center, which only consists of about 200,000 people, and everything else is either very rural and at the most maybe a town of maybe 20,000. So not a highly populated, big area. A lot of you know about this area because I talk about it all the time. And to take 55,000 people that pretty much have nothing, they have no money, they have nothing, and to place them here and expect, social services and communities, churches, charitable organizations to pick up the bill when all those organizations are already trying to take care of Missouri residents that need help, Missouri residents that are, regardless of the reason, need these services to help them get on their feet. That's significant. I mean, a little over 4% of our population is being dumped on us across the border. Odds are we don't really know what these people are doing here and why they're here. This should definitely send some warning bells out to people. I want you to think about this. We talk on this channel all the time about the World Economic Forum and about the Great Reset and stuff, and some of you may get tired of it, but I'm telling you this is true. You're all aware of that little video that was made a few years back from the World Economic Forum. The one that says, you'll own nothing and be happy. I mean, it's been viral. Everybody knows that. You'll own nothing and be happy. Well, that's just the very first part of that video. It lists, I believe, 8 different things that we're going to change between now and 2030, which isn't that far away, only 8 more years. Here is number 5 in that. And number 5 in that video, it talks about being able to accept refugees because there's going to be lots and lots of people displaced, millions and millions and millions of people displaced all over the world because of climate change. And so we need to do a better job of handling all these refugees. So is everything that's happening at the border and distributing all these border crossers all across the country, is that part of the Great Reset plan? I think so. And with everything that's happening and all the drain on all the systems already, and the economic tensions and the economic problems that we're having, this is only going to make things worse. I'm working on a video that I'll release later this afternoon, so be sure to watch for it. And in that video, I'll talk about how the United States' own food supply, we've been talking about Russian wheat and Ukrainian wheat and the global wheat supply and the global food supply. But what about American food supply? While America produces a lot of food, America has the capability of producing a lot of food. But you might not realize that America's current condition isn't as good as we think it is. And with all these problems everywhere, we can't just always assume that, well, we'll just do great because we can survive on what we produce on our own. Because that's actually not happening right now. We're not doing a really great job of it. And this coming year's planting and harvest doesn't look so great. So folks, with all this happening, and finding out that it's very possible that tens of thousands of illegals of unknown origin and unknown intent are being dropped into your area all over the country, Folks, we should be concerned. We don't have to worry about the Russians and the Chinese invading us. We're already being invaded. And this is going to affect us in so many ways. The culture, it's going to affect the economy, a lot of things. When you take that amount of people all over the country and just dump them on a region, on a people that they're not even suspecting it. They're not even giving warning out. And so this should be of concern, folks. And like I said, I can't guarantee that it's happening in your area, but from the story that we were told by the bishop, I can't imagine the guy lying. My friend that knows him personally says he's a good guy and a trustworthy person. Odds are this is probably happening in a lot of places, if not everywhere. So folks, get ready. Continue to prep, get your house in order, prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.